Hey, old men, stop walking around fucking naked in the locker room. It's selfish. You did not ask anyone's consent. You know it's unacceptable to walk out into the gym naked. You know it's unacceptable to walk out onto the street or the restaurant or a bar or a gas station. But you think walking around in the locker room is like your own canvas to screw with people and spread your butt cheeks and spread your sack out onto the bench. And I've seen a guy do this and sit his ass down on a graded bench, naked, spreading his ass out everywhere. I have seen 4 naked men in a locker room in one day. These are mostly old white men. This is disturbing. Why is this considered okay? Is this like a cultural thing? Why are old men acting like consent is not an issue? They don't know who they're going up, like who they're being naked around, if they're disturbed by it or not. And they don't have to be naked. There's no need for it. And don't you dare come into these comments with pro-nudity of old men extremism in locker rooms. I will delete those comments because you creeps, you perverts who say just don't look. There's no avoiding looking at someone who, when you walk into a locker room, you're like, whoa, surprise nudity. They're just standing there naked. And how do you know which ones are just naked because they're whatever the fuck? They're just like, chauvinists, like I'm the settler of this land, I'm nude. And who are the ones who are trying to probe and test out, what your boundaries are? Like my old landlord, not Debbie in Annandale, but like the one who tried to get in he said, can I join you in the shower? This 89-year-old Baptist pastor. And then I said, no. And he's like, I'm just kidding. He was testing me, and that's what some of you perverts are doing. Now, today, what happened? An old white guy, pale as a plucked chicken, walked out of the shower. He's in somewhere in my periphery. I try not to look at him. I'm just looking at my locker. He walks somewhere. I don't know where he went. There's no one else around me in the locker room. I'm thinking, oh, hopefully he went to a changing stall. That's right, Planet Fitness has changing stalls. Why are you not taking advantage of them, you creeps? I go over to the sink, which is sort of like around the corner, and I'm like, oh shit, this naked old man is standing. He is butt naked, standing at the middle sink with a bunch of paper towels around him. I don't even know what he's doing with the paper towels. I'm not looking. At least as much as I can help it. But when I walk over to the sink, first step, into that area, he looks at me, I look at him. I'm like, oh, hell no. I go to the sink next to him. I say instinctively, I've never said this before, I feel weird with you being naked around me like that. And what this man said next, I was not prepared for. And this will haunt me in my nightmares. This has just ruined my whole day. He said, well, just imagine I'm fully clothed. Have a good one. And he walked away. I wanted to rush him like Taylor in Platoon when he rushed Sergeant Barnes for killing Elias. Like, you son of a bitch! And, hold him down and say, I don't have to imagine you're fully clothed. You can get fully clothed! This son of a bitch could have gotten into a stall, a changing stall if he wanted, but he didn't. He chose to walk around naked. Now, he didn't ask my consent. How does he know if someone next to him is not a victim of sexual assault? There are people who press charges for this because it's indecent exposure. I heard a story on the radio the other day on the news of a priest who's being charged with indecent exposure. What would be his defense, by the way, if I decided to call the police for that? If I said, I called the police, said, I didn't consent to this, so you can get dressed or I'm calling the cops for indecent exposure. You go, well, pretend I'm fully clothed. Have a good one. They're like, no, actually, don't run from the police. I'm calling him right now. What would he say? Because I would say, he was naked without my consent around me. And here's the thing. It seems like you could just get away with it, though, in a locker room. Because all you'd have to say is, well, it's a locker room. It's just how it is. Why is that how it is? Why do they have changing stalls if that's how it is? Why do the showers have curtains over them? Why does it say in front of the locker room, notice a woman works in the male locker room to clean it up. Why even say that? It's not that it's an issue if a woman's in a men's locker room and the guy is just, blow drying his hair or even going into the toilet, into a stall. The issue is it gets a little weird when there's nudity around. And unless there's a sign saying, hey, people are going to get nude in here, why is this acceptable? Planet Fitness, is this okay with you? We should shame these men. Please, there's got to be a lawyer out there who's willing to take this case, a class action lawsuit against Planet Fitness for millions of instances of indecent exposure that they have allowed. They should have signs saying no nudity allowed or keep nudity to an absolute minimum. You may not be nude outside of the shower stall or in the changing room. That's it. There's no need for nudity anywhere else. Unless you're saying it's okay for these guys to go naked out into the gym and go naked out onto the street. But then we all understand the context of, that's criminal, that's perverted, that's disregarding other people's boundaries. I went to the locker room the other day. There were 4 naked men, all old men. In one day I saw 2 of them were standing talking to each other outside the showers. One was showering, and I got out of the shower. He's still showering, but the shower curtain's half open. I'm like, what the hell? Is there someone inside there? I didn't look. He steps out. He's naked. Goes over to the locker. He's whistling. You know how much I hate whistling and singing because that is pleasuring yourself. That's like saying you think you should masturbate in front of others, you pervert. He was whistling Christmas music. Bending over. Why is this okay? We should all band together and shame men who do this. People, if you have someone in your lives, you need to have conversations with old men around you. Your dads, your grandparents, your husbands, your cousins, your brothers, your uncles. You need your teachers. You need to have conversations with people. Say, hey, just letting you know, it's not okay to be naked in the locker room, right? Hopefully they'll say, oh yeah, I know, totally. I'm on the same page as you. Don't worry about me. I'm good. What you don't want is the guy who said, well, just imagine me fully clothed. Why is that not a defense if he were to be out at a restaurant and expose himself to someone? It's obviously wouldn't be a defense. That should be a disturbing thought. But it's okay when we're in the locker room? He didn't have to be naked. There's got to be a lawyer. Lawyers put commercials on TV to find clients. There's got to be a lawyer who's willing to say, please, let me know if you've been harmed by a naked man in a locker room with memory damage because I don't want this in my memory. So, sign up with the class action lawsuit. Let's ban these men from public spaces. And also, you should be able to hand out cards to people. Like if that naked guy. So here's how it should have gone today. First of all, I may very well get a lawyer. Planet Fitness, you've got to put a policy in place to stop this. Seriously, what if people are disturbed? What if they're victims of assault and they don't want to have to deal with a nude body without their consent near them? So here's what people should be able to do is just have cards that their lawyer, like my lawyer, eventually when I get a lawyer for this, will give me a card that I can just slide to the person if he's at the sink next to me and it says, excuse me, but you did not ask my consent and there are laws against indecent exposure for being naked. Please clothe yourself or you will face legal action. Those should be cards that lawyers give out. Lawyers should be running commercials for this. Why is this acceptable? If it is acceptable, it should say on the sign, nudity allowed in here. That's what should happen. If it's not, then don't even let people be nude in there. And people should not be nude in there. Say it's a policy not to let people be nude in there. Or just take out the changing stalls. But don't have both. Don't say, okay, they're changing stalls, but you don't have to use them. If they're there, it means you're not supposed to be naked in front of other people. And old men, what's with them? Why are they doing this? What's the benefit? What's the upside? all I can think is how uncomfortable I would be subjecting someone else to something they're uncomfortable with. Why would I want to do that to somebody else? I am never naked in the locker room. I mean, I'm naked in the shower, but I have my clothes right outside the shower and my towel. So like I pull back the shower curtain a little bit, pull my arm out, pull the towel in, wipe myself off. Then while I'm holding the towel, because I'm still going to wipe more of myself off when I step out, but then like I reach for my t-shirt, my boxers, put those on. I got my shorts, put those on. Then I step out of the shower stall. So people should go, we should have a shaming campaign. This should be a national movement. Everybody should tell each other about this. Have conversations like, hey, do you know like men are just going naked in locker rooms? Yeah, that's not okay. And if one jerk is like, oh, so what? What's the big deal? Everybody fucking shame him. Be like, whoa, I'm going to let your employer know about this. And when you see them naked in the locker room, don't hurt them, don't touch them, don't take pictures or anything. Just shame them. Just say, no. Do this. Wag your finger and be like, no. I did not consent to your nudity. So what are you going to do? Are you going to violate my boundaries? You showing you're going to violate my sense of space? Come on, people. Let's end male nudity in locker rooms. Unless it's consensual. But then they have to put up a sign or a notice saying you can be nude in here. Planet Fitness, is this okay with you? Seriously, what are people who are disturbed by this supposed to do? Just deal with it? And what's the upside? What's the benefit? What's the like, oh, geez, if they have to put on clothes, it's going to cost them an extra $50 a day in clothes because those clothes get ruined so fast. There is no upside. This is the work of sick people, of perverts, of losers. So stop being naked in locker rooms. Stop tolerating it. Let's start a campaign. Let's lawyer up and sue the big gym industries to ban male nudity in locker rooms. I'm Angelo. Thanks for watching.